I'm Anthony O'Flynn. I'm the Director of Holistic Yoga and Meditation. How can I feel subtle energy? Well, subtle energy is what we refer to as chi, life force, or prana in yoga, and it's a non-physical energy that is basically manifesting in this world that we connect to 24/7, even if we're actually not aware of it. So the subtle energy is very important in our development because it influences our emotions, our states of mind, our thoughts, our ideas, our concepts, and ultimately how we perceive this reality. So learning to harness and accumulate the subtle energy in our structure is a critical part of the process of development of our evolution. This can be felt especially in the chakras, in the energy centers known as the chakras, but we can also feel it in our hands and arms. And this prana is particularly strong in a place like where I am today in the tropics because there's so much richness, so much fullness of nature, and prana is coming from the trees, from the plants, from everywhere. As opposed to if we're in a big city, high building, tall building, lots of concrete, windows, glass and so on, there's not as much prana, and that's often why we feel sometimes drained if we're in an office. And on the opposite, we feel very rejuvenated, very nourished when we're in nature because of this bountiful feeling of prana which invigorates us, which gives us this life force energy. So the prana is used in yoga, in Tai Chi, in Qigong, and all these spectacular manifestations of strength, such as breaking blocks, such as putting spears against the throat without it piercing the skin, is a control of the prana, a control of the chi. So it gives us this ability to do amazing things when we harness this non-physical energy, this prana as we refer to it in yoga. The prana is always present, the subtle energy is always present. It's we who have to tune in and assimilate and collect that subtle energy for our development in the practice. So what does it feel like? Well, the subtle energy is like a warmth, it's like a heat, very fine vibrations of energy. Not hot as in the temperature of a flame, but a very subtle warmth that we can perceive, that we can feel in our energetic being, in our pranic body, in our astral body, and so on. So it's very similar to the chi in acupuncture. If you've ever had acupuncture and you felt the chi moving through the meridians, it's a similar sensation, but a little different through the practice of yoga. So many people today, they practice yoga with this idea that the physical body is the end, but the physical body is just the beginning. And when we attune with this subtle reality, we deepen our practice because we affect our astral body and therefore transform our astral body, transforming our emotions, our state of consciousness. So this is very important because ultimately what is unconscious becomes conscious, such as a heartbeat. Yogis have been known to stop their heartbeat. It's a subconscious function. It takes place even when we're asleep. So someone who is able to do such an incredible power like that is basically making what is unconscious conscious. And this is precisely what we're doing when we work with the subtle energies, because what is unconscious for one person is conscious for another through an expanded state, through a heightened state of consciousness. And this connection to the subtle reality, to the subtle energy, it creates a genuine higher state of consciousness in both yoga and meditation, and of course the other practices, that gives us a elevation of our consciousness. So this means that we can perceive the subtle reality, such as events such as the full moon, the new moon, other astrological transits, because of this subtle awareness. And this changes how we relate to the universe and simultaneously how the universe relates to us. So it's a big transformation because we no longer think about this as something we know through books and so on, but because we directly perceive it, which is a critical leap in consciousness to understand this. So in order to feel the subtle energies, we can do several things to help us. We can focus the mind, we can keep still, it's essential to use correct, genuine techniques in order to activate the chakras. But by keeping the body still, the subtle energy is able to flow through the body easier in the practice, and it also helps to still the mind. By stilling the body, we can therefore still the mind. And obviously then we can help focus to really concentrate the mind, not be focused on anything else, be completely laser pointed with the mind on those energy centers. Those chakras will help us connect with a subtle energy. We can purify our being through diet, through lifestyle changes, through purifying our emotions and all these other things to help allow the energy to flow through our body better. And of course the practice itself, which is ultimately the most important thing, because we purify by doing the practice, and by practicing we can learn to perceive the subtle energies. As Aristotle said, what we have to learn to do, we learn by doing. Thanks for watching. As always, invest in your soul.